You ever have one of those days where you just think, what if? What if I'd taken that other job? Or what if I'd never broken up with that person? Well, today we're diving headfirst into that exact feeling with an explainer on Matt Haig's fantastic novel, The Midnight Library.
But let's take it a step further. What if it wasn't just daydreaming? What if you could actually go into those other lives and test them out? I mean, what if you had the power to literally wipe out every single regret you've ever had? Well, that's the wild ride our main character is about to go on.
All right, so let's meet Nora Seed. She's 35 years old, and she is having, well, arguably the worst day of her life. You know the kind I'm talking about, where it feels like the universe is just lining things up to knock you down? It's just a total avalanche of bad news. First, she finds out her cat died. Then she gets fired from her job. To make it worse, her brother was in town and didn't even bother to call her. One by one, every little thread connecting her to the world just seems to snap, leaving her feeling completely and utterly adrift. So, at the end of this awful, awful day, Nora has hit rock bottom. She's totally convinced that she's a burden, that everyone she knows would be better off if she wasn't around. She writes a note and decides it's time to check out. But what happens next isn't the end. It's something else entirely. She wakes up, not in heaven or hell, but in this massive, endless library. And there, behind the counter, is Mrs. Elm, her old school librarian. Mrs. Elm explains that this is the Midnight Library, a place that exists in the space between life and death. And every single book on these infinite shelves, each one is a different life Nora could have lived, all based on a different choice she could have made. So now, the journey begins. Nora has this unbelievable, impossible chance to pick any book off the shelf and literally try on another life. She gets to shop around for a reality that might, just might, finally make her happy. So first up, she picks a big regret. The life where she and her ex, Dan, actually opened that cozy little pub they always talked about. Sounds idyllic, right? Well, the reality is a brutal wake-up call. The pub is a financial nightmare, and Dan is moody and distant. Not the partner she remembered at all. The dream shatters, and whoosh, she's pulled right back into the library. Okay, so, plan B. What if she'd stuck with her band? She opens that book and, bam, she's a full-blown rock star, on stage in front of a stadium full of screaming fans. It's exhilarating. But backstage, the high comes crashing down when she learns the terrible truth. In this life, her brother Joe died of an overdose. The fame she craved came at the highest possible price. All right, what about a life of pure discipline and glory? In the next book, she's an Olympic swimmer. She has the medals, the fame, her brother is her manager. It seems perfect. But even with a gold medal around her neck, she feels that same old emptiness inside. Turns out, even fulfilling her biggest childhood dream couldn't fix what was broken. You starting to see the pattern here? Nora's quickly learning that every single life, no matter how amazing it looks from the outside, has its own hidden sadness, its own challenges. The idea of a perfect life is beginning to feel like a complete illusion. And that's really the core lesson she's learning. You can't just fix one thing you regret and expect everything else to fall into place perfectly. Every choice sends out these unpredictable ripples, creating a whole new web of joy and sorrow. But then, she finds one, a life that just feels right. She's married to a kind man named Ash, she has a wonderful little girl named Molly, and a career she loves as a professor. It's not flashy, it's just good. And for the first time, Nora thinks to herself, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe I could stay here. But even in this seemingly perfect world, there are cracks. She learns that her beloved mentor, Mrs. Elm, passed away in this timeline. She finds out a former piano student of hers is in trouble with the law, something she might have prevented. It's this gut punch of a reminder that even the best choices still have unforeseen, painful consequences. So feeling pretty lost, Nora tries something totally different. A life of adventure. And it's here, in the most extreme environment imaginable, that a single, terrifying moment changes absolutely everything. So get this, she's a glaciologist in the Arctic. It's wild, it's beautiful, it's completely new. And then, while she's out on the ice, She turns around and comes face to face with a polar bear. Just right there. Pure, primal fear. And in that moment, staring death right in the eyes, something clicks. The only thing she wants, the only thing she can think about, is that she wants to live. Not a better life, not a different life, just life. For the first time, she feels this raw, undeniable spark, this powerful will to just exist. And that single powerful desire sends a shockwave through her reality. Back in the library, all hell is breaking loose. The shelves are on fire, the books are falling, the whole place is collapsing. Mrs. Elm explains that because Nora has finally made a true choice, the choice to live, this in-between world can't hold her anymore.
So she's frantically searching for the book that will take her back to her original life. She finds it, throws it open, and it's empty. All the pages are blank. The library is crumbling around her, and her only way home is gone. The panic is real.
Just then, Mrs. Elm hands her a pen, and with a shaky hand, Nora writes the only thing that matters on that blank page. I am alive. It's not just a sentence, it's a declaration. It's her taking ownership, and it's the anchor she needs to pull herself back. And just like that, she wakes up, she's back in her own body, in her own messy life. The incredible journey is over, but now, she's armed with this completely new perspective, ready to actually start living the one and only life she has. And here's the best part. She doesn't just sit around. She takes action. She reaches out to her brother, and they finally start to heal their relationship. She starts teaching piano again, rediscovering her purpose, and she goes to visit the real Mrs. Elm for a quiet game of chess. And that's when it all makes sense. Life isn't about finding some perfect winning strategy. It's like chess. It's about playing the board in front of you, making the best moves you can, and realizing that every single choice, no matter how small, has the power to change the whole game.
So I'll leave you with this question. If you walked into your own midnight library and you were surrounded by all the lives you could have lived, would you open a book? And if you did, which regret would you try to fix first?